Little Bob Dylan, never heard. Hello everyone, this is Jan and you're watching my special video, A Day in the Life of Samuraiox. So a little while ago, Samuraiox, the creator of I Never Forgot and one of the V100's community most productive members, and we both got talking about maybe doing a little collaboration and like talking about maybe I would draw something and he would write it, and then to kind of give him an idea of what I was thinking about, I thought of the writing he does in the back of I Never Forgot, which is really about his life and how his life has influenced the creation of his comic book. And I thought like, well, maybe we can do something with that. So I'm just gonna draw a day in the life of Ox, and then he can add the words and add color, and like we can collaborate in that way and just to see what comes up, like, you know, for a single page. So so that's what you're watching right now, the creation of that page. I'm really happy with how it came out because it is an actual real life person who's going to, you know, I'm gonna have to hand it off and like all those things. So that's really exciting. But it was also like one of the reasons I really wanted to do this, besides collaborating, is I just need to make more stuff. Like I'm looking to make more stuff outside of my own comic book projects so that I'm forced to draw things that I usually wouldn't do, but are still in the comic book wheelhouse, and that forced me to get better at telling stories. So this was a really good week for that. Not that this took a whole week to make. I think in total, I probably spent about 3 or 4 days, you know, finding an hour here, 2 hours there, 3 hours there, that kind of thing. But yeah, I had to look up Iowa. That was fun. I had to look up cars and find reference for cars and draw cars. And I came once again to that realization, like when you do the whole cleanup for a comic book, that I thought the page looked pretty nice, but then when you see it close up in 600 DPI and you do that whole bitmap thing, man, those are not tight inks at all. So I had a lot of cleaning up to do. Also drawing within the lines, like there's stuff that has fallen off the comic book page just because I hadn't really thought that out, and I didn't have a scanner available to me this week because of. So yeah, there's lots of little things that have come up, but the real like what you're watching right now. So the first 3 panels, let me just talk you through the page. So the first 3 panels were kind of easy, you know, as we've seen in Ox's videos. I just figured like, well, you know, he comes home from a day at work or something like that, and he's eager to get home to work on his comic book, which is so relatable for so many of us who have day jobs and work on the 100 days of making comics. So that part of the story kind of wrote itself, but then there was the part where I'm like, okay, so, you know, I can simply continue along in this vein, but then I showed him, and then he very quickly started filling in like, oh, well, maybe we can go meta, and you could draw this here and you can draw that there. And I had no idea what this was about. You know, why am I drawing a paint bucket? Why does it have to say red? Why is there a ransom note? You know, but as he said, like all will be revealed in the comic book. This is like a bit of a tease of what's coming and what is going to happen in the comic book story for I Never Forgot issue 8, which he's working on right now, and you can follow along on Instagram, Patreon, and I think there's going to be a video coming soon on YouTube. Not sure, but check out his channel. The link will be down below. So yeah, so I got to draw all that, and let me just see where we're at in the video right now. The part where 2 of the characters will be revealed by moving some paperwork out of the way. Unfortunately, this portrait of Ox is not actually going to be on the page because even though I'm very fond of it and came out well, just didn't fit, you know. Drawing within the lines, it's important. It kills comic book characters. But how cool is it to get to help each other out like this and make a little collaboration and have a go drawing someone else's character, like for their own comic book project, you know? So I had a blast just looking up the characters of the comic book and just making sure, you know, they looked the part. On to the bottom half of the page. So it's time for the last panel, the last two. So I thought I'd do a little thumbnail. Like, I thought like maybe I'll do a different angle from over here, but then for clarity's sake, I think ultimately I'm gonna stick to this. This is very clear what's happening, peeking through a door. This is a bit more in the distance, which could work as well, I suppose. But this image just had more of an impact on me, so that's what I'm going for. It's right there. So draw this in a loose way. One thing that I've been trying to pay attention to drawing comic book panels and like in my art in general is to kind of hold back on the very loose sketching that I do for my portraits in pencil because it's hard to pull off in inks, quite frankly, but it doesn't stop me from trying. And here's definitely the one panel where there was the excuse of light and shadow and drama where I felt like, okay, we can let loose. Let's do a lot of cross hatching and make it look awesome. I think it came out pretty cool. I really like because Ox has a ton of imagery on his walls and how it came out almost as if it was a giant-sized comic book page on his wall made of light. It's cool effect. And black and white. So I'm just gonna let the video run for a little bit, and then I'll get right back at you with the aftermath this weekend of finishing up this page and like what I'm up to.
Yeah, that was a temporary fix, but in the long game, it took away time that I could have been spending on this stuff that I actually love and actually enjoy. And
they were like for a nonprofit or something that paid more than what Marvel or DC would pay per page.
So I am just about ready to put these images I took of the actual page right here and put them together in Photoshop. So I don't have time to scan them in. like I just don't have time to go by the store, have them scanned in, put on my USB, bring it back home, because today I had to run out and get a paper from the lawyer with regards to immigration for a friend, then hand it over to another friend so it could be, you know, go from one country to the next. So I had to run around and lost a lot of time right after work, which is when the shops are open. And shops here are open till about 8 o'clock, so it's not too bad. But I was that busy today. And then tomorrow I'm going to meet up with friends right after work. I'm not even coming home, who are also visiting from out of town, from Amsterdam actually. So that should be good. And my friend has a friend who's an artist, so that could be interesting. So I'm definitely bringing a sketchbook so that I can, you know, let's see if we can get some feedback, maybe, just maybe. And then it's Thursday, but Thursday I want to have this video up. So let's see what we can do right now. So the plan is to clean up the page digitally, so I have both a traditional page to send him via the old snail mail, and a digital copy all cleaned up and ready to go on the Kablam template that we've been using for the Life in Space Anthology. So I took pictures, simply took the page, took my iPhone right here, took pictures of the panels, and I'm gonna line them up in Photoshop right now. So I've just moved everything in. It's gonna have to be resized. Obviously these pictures are too big, but I did that because it's gonna be 600 dpi, and I just wanna make sure, you know, I have the resolution. Notice how this doesn't quite line up. So I can either leave it, redraw it, or take a picture just of this bit and then just plop it on top, you know. Probably be the easiest way, but I think I'm gonna see if I can get these colors to go away, so I'm just left with the black line art. So today is Saturday, and Saturday is my day of rest. Nah, it's actually my day where I catch up on most of my art that I did not have time for during the week, because as I was complaining earlier, this week has been particularly busy, but I did manage to get that page done for Ox. I sent it off to him yesterday. He really liked it. He was very nice about the page, but because today is the national holiday of San Juan here in Catalonia, that means there were huge parties yesterday, lots of fireworks. Another reason for the cat to be catching up on her sleep. But that also means that today everything is shut, and so that means no post office open, so I'm gonna have to mail it out on Monday. And so so basically, you know, it also means I can't go to the library. Damn. I've got to, like, ever since I finally stepped inside that library that is not too far from my house, I mean, there's such a comic book community here in Spain. It's really awesome. So the library It's kind of like how I remember the library from when I was a kid back home. Like there's a really decent comic book selection, like, and one of the, like, I've always been into American comics for the longest time. I mean, not like growing up, but like after the age of 8, I'd say. So there's loads and loads of European comics that I missed out on. I don't really. It's like classical music. It's like, yeah, it sounds great, but I don't know where to start. So the library is a great place to just pick out a book and just sit down and start reading. Do I like it after 10 minutes? No, put it away, pick up another one. But the library's closed, so you're gonna be stuck with me. Okay. So what else have I got planned for today? So I cleaned up the comic book I was working on yesterday. I don't think I have. I do want to have another look at it, but it's pretty much done. Time to get started on a logo for a band. I made a logo for them probably 2 years ago, but like they added a member, so they want. It's really a plant, so that should be fairly straightforward. And the Kickstarter. So the Life in Space Kickstarter is going to be, so there's a lot of talk behind the scenes. It's going to be happening probably in the next month, we've been told. But one of the rewards I've signed up to is make little portraits, because if you've been watching my channel, you know I draw lots of people. So it was suggested that maybe I could do that for the Kickstarter. Of course I can, but I need to send out some examples. Now I have plenty of examples I could just take a picture of and send off to Martial Couture. However, I thought since I will do some art exercises anyway, I might as well just make a couple of new ones, and you know, just for the hell of it. So I could be doing that today. But back to Saturday and back to Ox's page. So let me just show you the how I fixed up the page last night. I really enjoyed retouching it. It was a fun little thing to get into while watching some shows in the background. But I do worry that if I want to make my own comic book pages every single day, how much time I'm taking retouching every page. And watching Josh Kemble's how to clean up inks digitally tutorial video, which I'll put in the link down below as well. Watching that one again, like there's a remark he makes about realizing how your inks are not as tight as you think they are, even though you tried, and that having to touch them up actually makes you spend so much time that it forces you to become more efficient at inking. And so I hope that's going to happen to me as well, because as much as it was a nice little zen-like state to be in, touching up and cleaning up and having most of the hard work done, so I can, you know, have half of my brain watch a show. If I'm doing this on a daily basis, like pencils and then inks, and then have to spend this much time cleaning up the inks, that's crazy. That means I'll never be able to do a page a day. Something to think about. You guys, thanks so much for checking out this video, making the comic book page a life in a day of Samuraiox. I do hope you check out his videos and his channel. That you'll find them in the links down below if you haven't seen them pop up in the right-hand corner. Check out Joshua Kemble's how to digitally clean up your inks. Check out the ArtCasters, who you've been hearing in the background here and there. That's a great podcast to pick up some great tips and get to know some really cool people in the community here on YouTube who are making comic books and trying to make a living off their art, and generally are just very fun people to be around. So so be sure to say hi to all those people on their channels, and I'll be seeing you guys hopefully tomorrow night or Monday at the latest, as I'll be making another Sketchalona episode. I think it's 37, but I'm not sure. You guys, thanks for watching, and see you next time.